That's okay. Thanks, Les Corla. May I just begin by as well recognising the fact the announcement this morning for the 7.8 million for assessment of needs. I know it's something that Deputy Rabbitte has worked on, and even when she was in opposition, she has spoken about her desire to achieve that and to clear that backlog. And I think that's fundamentally important, and I think it needs to be acknowledged. Can I just also, like the previous speaker, acknowledge that Deputy Rabbitte, or Minister Rabbitte, came to Cork recently to visit Cope Foundation and St Gabriel's Special School and met with a few consultants in CUH as well to talk about rehabilitation. And can I just thank her for that trip? I'm hoping that, following on from those meetings, that some of the issues that were highlighted on those days might be resolved. Can I just touch on school transport as well? Initially, I suppose it is the hot topic, not just in mainstream, but obviously in the case of special schools. And I have correspondence between myself and the department over the last number of weeks, specifically again in relation to Cope Foundation in Cork, whereas when you met the CEO, Sean Abbott, recently, it was highlighted that there's 4 schools actually on that campus or in and around the same campus. And unfortunately, given the demand for the bus services there in Cope, those students from different schools are sharing the same buses. And I suppose the response that we've gotten heretofore from the principal officer in the transport section has been unacceptable. I don't like, from the correspondence we have, that situation isn't going to change, and I would just urge you maybe to revisit that. I don't think it's acceptable that people with underlying health conditions and some of the difficulties that they have would be expected to share the same bus and possibly risk cross-contamination if there was to be a breakout. So I think school transport is fundamental. It needs to be tackled. The second issue is just regarding school transport. I suppose, in the wider respect, we all meet different people every day of the week, coming into our clinics, coming into our offices, talking about, making round trips of maybe 2 or 3 hours a day and travelling. I think that needs to be overhauled. I think somebody needs to sit down, with those people, with those students, and to literally take a map. And I think there's a way better way of streamlining services, streamlining buses. The amount of money that's wasted on buses in a facility like Cope Foundation, where they could provide the care that they're giving those students in the community setting. And I'm not saying that the money is wasted on buses. Obviously, it's a fundamental part of getting the children to school, but it would be far better spent, I think, in the community and being amongst the people that need it most. I take the Minister's point that the vast majority of services have resumed, but I'd just like to echo what previous speakers have said. I suppose we're dealing with difficult situations, people that might have, acute epilepsy and suffer from seizures, and with respect, 1 day a week of a service, it's welcome that we're back, but, when you're dealing with people with, severe needs like that, and the pressure that their parents are under, I do think that we need to try and up the ante and get back to as much as normal as we can. Can I finally just mention St Gabriel's Special School? I mentioned it at the outset. The Minister Rabbitte was kind enough to take a visit with me there a number of weeks ago, and I suppose the conditions in that school and the circumstances that they're in, again, with the most vulnerable students that we have in that area, I do think that St Gabriel's needs to be looked at, whether it's your own department or whether it's the Department of Education. I do think that that case needs to be made for St Gabriel's to get a permanent home, like the previous speaker, Minan O'Connor, mentioned. The day of prefabs, and it's gone, and especially for our most vulnerable children, when they don't have rooms with adequate facilities, don't have adequate toilet facilities. I think that's an acute setting that needs to be looked at. Thank you.